Hey guys, welcome back to the Leading Edge Cricket Podcast, episode 53. And from now on, for the first time ever, set your watch by it, boys and girls. Episode 53. It's a new time. It's a new schedule. It's the first ever schedule for the Leading Edge Cricket Podcast. So whether you're Google, Apple, Android, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, wherever you listen to this, 6 a.m. UK time every Monday morning, this bad boy is going to drop in your inbox. I am Rob on half of the Leading Edge Cricket Podcast, and today I'm joined by the co-host of the show, Rich.
Hey, what's going on, Rob? 6 a.m. every Monday. That sounds far too organised, buddy. You sure about that?
Well, no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
We can guarantee... Oh, hang on a sec. 2 minutes later. Well, maybe we can't guarantee, but...
Yeah, no, I think it's the right way to go. We want to put this stuff out regularly. And normally what happens is there's a whole heap of stuff going on and we're like, bang, 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 2 episodes a week. It's all great. And then baby life happens or something happens. So we're setting a watch by it and we're going to say 6 a.m. every single week it is going to be in the inbox. And it's bloody exciting to get that in place.
Exactly, yeah. And it would be nice to get the weekly cricket news podcast out as well, won't we, where we can discuss what's going on in the world of cricket and just whatever takes our fancy at that point in time. It doesn't have to be just all the news. It can just be whatever we want to talk about. So, yeah, that's going to be good, mate. We'll lock it in every week, every night. Well, whatever night it is in the week we're going to record on, and then we'll make sure Monday morning, Sunday night maybe, Monday morning, we'll get it out and we will be consistent. As consistent as... Rory Burns?
I was going to say, please don't say Keaton Jennings.
Oh.
There's the first little jibe at him, a little rib punch. There you go, Keaton. There's the first one of the day, mate.
But I don't know why we're criticising Keaton Jennings, because your prediction to be the man of the series, the leading run scorer for England against India, well, he must have had a sensational summer against India because... You know, spoiler alert, he's in the test squad to tour Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
So, you know, why are you criticising him?
I think he just did enough to warrant his place. You know, if you're looking for someone that's going to average 20 in a 5 test match series, well, you don't have to look much further.
He's got pictures. He's got Ed Smith naked pictures. That's what I reckon. Threatening to leak them.
Someone check his WhatsApp. The other bit of news that's coming out from our side, Rich, is the website development is underway. We've had a couple of cuts of the first draft that's come in from your friend who's doing the work for us, and it's coming along quite nicely. So the guys we've been in contact about writing for the website. They're all excited and raring to go, and we're getting there. It's starting to take shape.
It is. It's a slow old process, and it's a lot slower than we want it to be. But it's just we have to understand. We have to respect things. You know, our good friend Adam, he's helping us out with the website, but he's a busy boy as well. He's got his own life. He's got his work commitments. So we understand that things are going to take a bit of time, and we're not the best at the moment, are we, of getting ourselves together and getting stuff sorted. But it's going to become more of a priority again, isn't it? Now we've kind of got life a little bit more organised.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
I like the way we're not the best at getting organised and getting together, and I'm sat there thinking, yeah, I'm like that with my wife. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, same. Not with your wife, Rob. Not with your wife.
Not with your wife. So, Rich, there's so much going on in the world of cricket, and today we're going to focus on England solely because there's a lot going on in this England team and squad and all this good stuff going on. So England are heading off to Sri Lanka and they've announced the one-day international squad. There's that test match squad where you try and replace 12,000 test match runs in Alastair Cook. I wonder how they've done that. And central contracts have been announced for this England team, and I just had a look before we came on air and I started to let out some 4-letter expletives going, I can't believe it.
Got it out your system?
Oh, I feel myself shaking with anger.
Shaking. So, well, let's crack on into it then. Sri Lanka, England, it's ridiculous. England will be in Sri Lanka imminently. They kick off the ODI, 3-match ODI series, gets started, Rob, on the 10th of October.
Whoa.
The cricket season, the summer in England it feels like it's literally just finished like a day ago, isn't it?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. No wonder there's player burnout. You can't... A really intense late summer for these international players playing test match cricket or the one-dayers going back to play back for the counties. And then it's like, oh yeah, you can have 2 weeks off with your families, boys, and then we're shipping you to Sri Lanka for about 6 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, it is what it is, isn't it? So the cricket season does not stop for anyone at the moment. So we kick off with the ODIs. So let's have a look at the England squad then. So captained by Owen Morgan, everyone's favourite Irishman. Sorry, first dig already, isn't it? I apologise. Captained by Owen Morgan, England legend. Moeen Ali, Johnny Bairstow, Joss Butler, Sam Curran, Tom Curran, Liam Dawson of Hampshire, Alex Hales, Liam Plunkett, Adil Rashid, Joe Root, Jason Roy, Ben Stokes, Chris Wokes, Mark Wood, and Ollie Stone, Warwickshire quick bowler. He's the new name. It's a bit of an exciting selection there. But the 25-year-old, he's finally had an injury-free run of games of cricket. The man, he always seems to be injured. He's a very, very quick bowler, sharp. I'm sure, certainly the fans of Warwickshire, they're really excited by this guy. His record isn't the greatest record you'll ever see in the world, but it's just it's the raw pace, isn't it? The talent, raw pace of this fella. He's not played a lot of cricket, as I was saying. He's in nearly 25. 36 games in first class, he took 116 wickets to 24. In List A, in 26 games, he's took 23 wickets at 38 average. And then in 42 games of T20 cricket, he's took 33 wickets at 34 with an economy rate of just a tad under 9. So if you look at those stats, you're kind of wondering why he's got a call up, aren't you? But there is raw talent there. So, I mean, that's the squad. Pretty consistent. Tom Curran sorted his hair out a little bit, so that's an improvement on Tom Curran. I'm a little bit more invested in him now. So, yeah, I mean, that's a pretty competitive squad, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a damn good squad. The Ollie Stone one, I don't know how much cricket he will play. He'll play a bit of the tour match, but they obviously see something in him, and it's that raw potential, and they'll want him in and around the team. You remember Jimmy Anderson, players like that when they first started coming through. They started in the one-day arena, and then they worked their way through to Test cricket. And now he knows he's behind quite a few people in the Test match rankings to try and get into this good England bowling unit. But England want to have him around, and there's a lot to work with. If you've got some guy that can bowl 92 mile an hour, you want to take a look at him and you want to take care of him, and that's exactly what they'll do. Liam Dawson's an interesting call-up, obviously in the team because he can offer a couple of different things to his game. He's a decent first-class cricketer. He averages 32 in List A in first-class cricket. Only ever played the one-day international. I thought he played more than that, but he can bowl. He averages 31 with the ball in List A cricket, and I think he might find himself playing, especially in Sri Lanka, because you've got Moeen, you've got Rashid, and then you've got Liam Dawson. They're three decent spinners.
Yeah, I think it's a nice selection. But again, it's another one of those selections for England where they're looking at multifaceted cricketers, aren't they?
Yep.
They want players who can bat and bowl. They're not interested now in a bowler who bats at number 11 or a batsman that can't do anything. So Liam Dawson is another one of those cricketers, and I can understand the selection. Just touching on the Ollie Stone selection, he's kind of a little bit of an extra in the squad because Liam Plunkett, one of our favourites, Rob. We've got to say that. There doesn't go a podcast without us mentioning Liam Plunkett. Our favourites, Rob. Philadelphia Eagles supporting Liam Plunkett. He's getting married, mate. So he's going to miss the first 3 ODIs. So it opens the door for Ollie Stone to just nip in there while Liam Plunkett's otherwise engaged with his soon-to-be missus. So congratulations to Liam Plunkett on that, mate. And congratulations, Ollie Stone. He's going to get a chance.
Yeah, good on him. Do you think Liam Plunkett's going to have Fly Eagles Fly as his first dance song?
Oh, I thought he was going to say while something else was happening. But no, just me on that one. Probably just me then. Let's not worry. Yeah, I hope he does. Or a little bit of Dreams and Nightmares from Meek Mill. Everyone knows who he is, don't they? No. Okay, don't worry. Right, Ashley Giles though. Back to cricket. He has a word of advice though. Treat him like a Ferrari, Rob. That's what he said. Well, he didn't say to you, but he said treat him like a Ferrari. So. Yeah, I mean, it's just the injuries. Basically, you're not going to just run him to the corner shop, are you? I think that's what he's saying. Look after him, and he'll be fine. Bit worrying, but let's hope the injury problems are behind him and he can kick on. A notable admission, Rob, David Willey. He's got a back issue, so he's not involved. I just want to quickly move on as well. Alex Hales and Ben Stokes have both been named in this squad, despite being charged, obviously, recently with bringing the game into disrepute by the ECB. Now, there's a disciplinary panel hearing between the 5th and 7th of December. Now, this is a bit confusing to me. I don't know, maybe just me being a bit silly. So they've got a disciplinary hearing that they've named that they said will be carried out after the Sri Lanka tour. Why not do it before the Sri Lanka tour?
Yeah, just get it done. I don't like that. I really don't like that. The ECB are playing so many politics with squad selections, players, and it doesn't feel right. The ECB, basically, they make the rules as they go along, and they're making the rules here going, we want Stokes and Hales in the team, and if there's any repercussions after this series, we'll deal with it.
A cynical mind, and I'm not saying I have a cynical mind at all, but maybe I possibly have a little bit in this situation, says to me that they want Stokes to play in Sri Lanka, but then they're probably going to plan to rest him for West Indies. So maybe he gets a nice ban for the West Indies tour, which just coincides with potentially they'd plan to maybe just give him a bit of time off over the winter. I don't know. I'm not suggesting that's what's going on at all, obviously.
And the other thing is, if he's been found not guilty by the police, can he be found guilty by the ECB? Like, if he's not done anything criminally wrong, and he was seen as being the hero of the situation according to the gay couple on TV, no PR wrapped around that from the ECB. Like,
yeah.
What is the point of this? Like, surely it's just going to be a not guilty verdict because he's not done anything wrong.
Well, I believe they've charged him with bringing the game into, or him and Hales bringing the game into disrepute by their actions. They were involved in a scuffle. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It's a bit murky. It continues it on. It's a bit like the old bloody sandpaper gate, isn't it? It just never seems to go away. There'll always be another conversation to be had about Stokes and Hales, as there will with Smith and Warner and Bancroft. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. The other surprising one for me in the squad, Rob, I don't know what you think, but Mark Wood. Mark Wood, discuss.
Mark Wood is not on my Christmas card list.
It just doesn't take enough wickets for me. I keep saying, I can't imagine how many times I've said this. It's a bit like how many times we talk about Stokes and Hales. It just doesn't take enough wickets. They're persevering with him, but I'm just not sure. I don't know. It's a pretty solid squad. There's no real excitement in there. There's no real young players that have, at the end of a county summer, they've suddenly decided, let's give a couple of, a few lads a call. Ollie Stone obviously is in there. Liam Dawson, he's been around a little bit. He's played a lot of overseas cricket as well for, domestically. It's a steady squad, isn't it? They're still a decent force, aren't they, in one-day cricket? So, fingers crossed this will kick us on to the series. Jason Roy, he's an exciting player. There was a few people talking about him for the Test squad. He only gets his name in the white ball squad, but he'll be hoping that if he can perform in these ODIs, then you never know. They might keep him around. They like to keep changing and chopping and changing, don't they, in these squads? So he has a chance, I think, of maybe staying on a little bit longer if all goes well.
Yeah. Now, Rich, the last time England played cricket in Sri Lanka in a one-day series, I'm trying to cast my mind back. I've got a feeling you were in Sri Lanka. I don't know if it was the one-day series or was it the Test series, 2014-15.
Yeah, I think it was actually. Jesus, was that last time?
Yeah.
Good Lord. I remember Joss Butler smacking the winning runs in, which ground was it? It was in the middle of nowhere, that stupid ground. Not Palakelly, or is it Palakelly? I can't remember. I got a photo of my watch. It was about 11:30 at night and the game was just starting slowly coming to an end after a long, long rain delay. But yeah, that was good times, that was. That was good times.
And there you go. I know more about your social life and whereabouts than you do. But one of the interesting things, it was a 7-match one-day international series, which I think is absolutely stupid. And England lost 5-2.
Yeah, I need to have a look back into that. I can't remember. I think we went to 3 games.
Yeah.
So it was good. James Taylor was still playing for England at that point. He was just establishing himself. I think he got I'm not sure if it was in a warm-up. I can't remember the game, but I remember sitting on watching it on TV when we was travelling around somewhere else and watching him get a big score. But yeah, good times, mate. Sri Lanka's a great place to tour. It's got its problems this time around with Gaul. I think we spoke about it before, didn't we? Trying to charge England and Barmy Army and all that obscene amount of money compared to what the locals pay. So I hope that gets sorted out. But great country. Love Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Just so much fun. You got a bit of beach. You got the chaos as well. It's fantastic. So roll on this tour, isn't it? It's going to be good fun. Just talking of the games, we've got 2 games to kick off in Dambulla, 10th and 13th of October. They get up into the hills of Kandy for a couple of games, then finishing back down in the capital in Colombo on the 23rd. 1 T20, Rob, that's all they've got. 1 T20 before the test matches kick off on the 6th of November in Gaul on the coast. They then do go back up the hills into Candy 14th of November, and then they finish on the 23rd in Colombo. So it's not the longest tour in the world, but it's going to be an intense tour, and it will set this team up nicely to see where they are. With obviously one or two players not going to be around anymore.
Yeah, definitely. It is interesting. We'll kick into the Test match team, but you say it's not a short tour. The first game's on the 5th of October and the last game finishes on the 27th of November. So they're almost away for, 6 to 8 weeks.
You compare it to the Ashes, mate, you may as well not even empty your bag.
Yeah. Yeah, that is very true. So I think it's a nice segue out going, look at those 3 Test matches that are coming up, to go and have a look at the England Test match squad, because this is the biggie, right? This is how do you replace Alastair Cook?
This is the biggie, and this is kind of why I'm edging my way closer to it. So let's have a look how they've decided to do it. So let's roll through the squad then first. Joe Root, obviously, as captain. Moeen Ali, James Anderson, Johnny Bairstow, Rory Burns, Surrey opener. He gets his first call-up. Stuart Broad, Josh Butler, vice-captain, isn't he now? Sam Curran, Joe Denley. There's a name we've been chatting about for a while on this podcast. He gets a call-up at the age of 32. Let's just take a moment.
Yeah, we got one there, boys. We got one. One for the good guys.
Keaton Jennings, yes, he's in the squad. So is Jack Leach. Ollie Pope retains his place in the squad. Adil Rashid, on the back of signing a 1-year extension at Yorkshire, he stays on, and he's signed a contract, Rob, that isn't just for white ball cricket. He's going to be playing in all 3 formats. Well done, Adil. That's brilliant. Ben Stokes, Chris Wokes and Ollie Stone round out the squad. So Ollie Stone is called up into both squads for this tour. There's some brilliant names. Obviously, Rory Burns. Great to see Jack Leach back in there. Joe Denley. Love that. Love that selection. I think that's a really, really good, solid selection for this tour.
Yeah. It's, hey, I don't even know where to start with this. I'm going to start with spinners. Just because I can see Moeen Ali's face, and I like Moeen Ali's face. So Moeen Ali
stroking his beard like he does. He just looks always so comfortable when he's stroking his beard. I love that.
He's just a calm man. I like calm. He's a calm man. Calm. So I think Rashid should tour. Rashid's been picked for a reason for the India series, and he had some phenomenal wickets without bowling phenomenally well in enough periods for me, but him and Moeen Ali are the starting 2 spinners in that team, and Jack Leach is around. And I thought Jack Leach didn't do anything wrong down in New Zealand to be in and around the team. Is there any other spinners that you thought might try and sneak into that team?
Tough one, isn't it? It depends how they were going to look, isn't it? I think Jack Leach deserved his opportunity again. Adil Rashid did enough by the end of the Test series. And I think he only stayed in there through absolute stubbornness from the selection, because they made such a fuss about selecting him to the Test match after he was obviously only on a white ball contract. Yeah. But I felt like they had to basically carry on playing him to prove that they had made that one correct. So, right or wrong, he actually played pretty well by the end of it. I don't mind Adil Rashid as a cricketer. He's never really had a proper chance, has he? So fair play to him. Jack Leach definitely needs to be in. He's only played the 1 Test, hasn't he? Second Test of the 2 Test series back last winter, wasn't it, in Christchurch?
Down in Christchurch, yeah.
He took 2 for 113 in the game, and he scored 30 runs.
Yeah.
Obviously, injury hit then, but I've just had a little look. Second half of the summer, 29 wickets at just under 25. So I think that's really good. He's proven his fitness, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And again, Adil Rashid was selected because Jack Leach hadn't played enough cricket. Well, he's come back and had a really good second half of the summer. So again, that kind of rings a little bit hollow, doesn't it, that explanation from the ECB, because I'm sure Jack Leach could have come in and done a more than capable job.
Yes.
Are there any other spinners, Rob? Matt Parkinson, Lancashire, I think he's played well, but more so in the white ball. Maybe he would have been, I might have expected to see someone like him get a call up for the one-day stuff, but maybe if there was a bit of a T20 tour, then that could have been something. Amar Verdi, again, he's another name, isn't it, that we've spoke about, the Surrey spinner. But those boys, it's worth noting, and we'll touch on it in a moment, but those boys have got themselves selections for the England Lions, so they are certainly in the thoughts of the selectors. But yeah, I think Rashid and Leach are fair shouts, but you've also got Moeen Ali, and you add that onto Joe Denley as well. He bowls a little bit of spin, so that's 4 options really. Yeah. 5 if you count Joe Root.
Ooh, yeah, Joe Root can bowl spin. What about the seam attack? I don't feel there's any surprises here, because I think Anderson, Broad and Curran was superb during the summer, and Curran more than has put himself at the top of that list to be that other seamer. You do have Ben Stokes' ability to bowl seam, and then you've got Chris Wokes and Ollie Stone, and it depends on the type of team that they go with. If they go with multiple spinners, you're probably just going to see 3 seamers, and then you've got Chris Wokes, who's not got the best record away from England, but superb in England. And you've got young man Ollie Stone in the Test lineup.
Yeah, I mean, assuming that Ben Stokes is fit and playing well, and he plays all 3 Test matches, if Broad and Anderson play, you're only looking at one other seamer.
Yeah.
And then you're going with your extra spinner, aren't you? So I think, in effect, you'll probably have 3 spinners, which will be Rashid Leach and then Ali and or Denley. I don't know if it will be a toss-up between those two or whether they might actually find a way of getting Denley in as well. So you could even have the 4 or 5 spin options in there. But in country like Sri Lanka, first 10 overs, whilst there's a bit of shine on the new ball, you'll get 5 or 6 overs from the seamers, and very, very quickly you're looking at getting the spinners on. The all-rounders tend to have always done well in these sort of countries, subcontinent. I always quite like, we spoke about the favourite teams. I mean, Craig White, I always remember how well he bowled in India, or just in those places. Maybe it's just my memory just getting all, thinking back to the good old days. But just those all-rounders tend to do pretty well in these countries. So it's going to be interesting. So I don't know what sort of opportunity Ollie Stone's going to get. I don't know what sort of opportunity Sam Curran's going to get, or won't. Come to think of it. Maybe they'll all get a Test match. Who knows? Or maybe there is an opportunity to rest Broad, or Anderson at differing points in this Test series as well.
Yeah.
It's going to be hot. It'll be stinking. It'll be stinking hot and sweaty and whatnot. So it's going to be a tough old series. It's not an easy place to go and play. 38, 40 degrees temperatures, high humidity. So I'm sure they will look to rotate and give opportunities. And it's not, with all due respect, it's not the most important Test series in the world. We're not expected to win. So why not give some of these guys a bit of an opportunity, see how they can perform, expose them to places like Sri Lanka. So it's only going to help them in the future, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, to me, I look at it and I go, Ollie Stone. He looks a bit like Jay Cartwright off In Betweeners when I'm looking at his Cricket Info profile picture, and I can't stop seeing it now. I've seen it.
Cricket Info just stitching everybody up with these photos, aren't they? Rory Burns, mate, he needs to have a word with Cricket Info. That's an horrific picture. Little rosy cheeks, hasn't he?
He does, yeah. He looks about 12. Ollie Stone, the only way I can see him playing is if England get pumped in that first Test match and Sri Lanka score 600 and England go, we need pace. We need someone with pace. And that's, to me, that's one way he can come in. The only other way is if England go 2-0 up and they go, Brody, Anderson, one of you two, or maybe both of you, take a break for the last Test match, get yourselves ready for the West Indies series. That's the only way I can see him coming in. Flicking into
get yourself round the pool, lads. I think that's what you're trying to say.
Have a beer, enjoy it. Enjoy being there for a change. Wicket keepers, no surprises here. You've got Joss Buttler, you've got Johnny Bairstow, and Johnny Bairstow is coming off just quite a little bit of bad form in Test match arena.
It's a sneaky bad run, isn't it? It's one of those where it's like, should we be asking any questions of Johnny Bairstow at the moment? I'm going to say no when it comes to selection, but he has had a bit of a shocking end to the summer, hasn't he? I'm sure it wasn't anything to do with the in-out of the wicket-keeping gloves and whatnot, but he just needs to make sure he kind of puts that to bed and starts scoring a few runs, doesn't he? Josh Buttler got the vice-captaincy. They love him. The setup love him, but I was nearly said for whatever reason. We all love Josh Buttler. But we're in the Test setup. He hadn't proved himself at all, and he certainly hadn't committed to red ball cricket with all the IPL and all the rest of it. So they do love Buttler. I'm not saying that Bairstow's not going to be there because, my God, we are not. There's certainly not an embarrassment of riches in the batting lineup at the minute, is there? So Bairstow is going to be locked in at number 5. Root's going to be at number 4, isn't he?
Yeah.
Stokes is probably going to come in at number 6. Buttler at 7. So, there's not that many gaps, is there? But there is a big gap at number 3. I think that's the one, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is where we start talking about those players. So Root is there. Root is bagged in at 4. He's not going to change. He's not going to go up to 3. He went to 4 for a reason. That means that Ollie Pope, who's in the squad, probably isn't going to get a run out. He's a middle order batsman. That England middle order is pretty clunky. You've got Moeen Ali, who batted at 3 at the back end of the series. And then, I've left it till last, then you've got the openers. You've got Joe Denley, you've got Keaton Jennings, and you've got Rory Burns.
Yeah, so Burns is going to open, isn't he? Burns is going to open. And Ed Smith has spoken so, oh my God, flatteringly over Keaton Jennings. I'm not quite sure why. Keaton Jennings, to his credit, when he played for Lancashire in the Championship year, he scored runs. He averaged 47 in about 9 or 10 games, scoring, what was it? I don't know, how many runs? 700 runs, did we say? I can't remember now. Something.
It was about 700, 750, high average,
So
about 300 or 400.
So he played well in county, but he was horrific for England. And it wasn't just his batting. He was his mind had gone. There was that massive moment, wasn't there? Just when you looked at him and just went, this guy needs a break. Because when that one ball just went, it didn't even touch his hands. It just went through his body when he was at Slip Gully in one of the games. And I'm just shocked. I really am. I think that the only reason Jennings has retained his place is there is some bizarre logic within this selection saying we don't want to have two new openers playing together. And I think there's a little bit as well of stubbornness coming in again, saying, no, we were right with Jennings. We're going to stick with him. We think he's the man. Do you know what? If he is, brilliant. I'm sure he's a lovely fella. He scores runs whenever I see him play for Lancashire. He looks a nice player. He's got a bit of freedom. He plays for England. He loses that freedom. And he doesn't look to me as if he's got the personality or the attributes that you want, the sort of X-factor attributes. Sam Curran, don't know what it is, but he's got it. Yep. Simple as that, isn't it? Over the years, Alastair Cook, don't know what it is. He's got it. He's not got the best technique, but my God, he had it, didn't he? I don't think Keaton Jennings has what we're looking for, technique-wise nor character-wise. And again, I'm not trying to criticise him. I hope he does really well. But, yeah, what do you do? I mean, Rory Burns, well overdue, isn't it? Everyone knows this now. I think anyone who doesn't even like cricket has heard somebody say, but he scored 1,000 runs in 5 consecutive championship seasons.
Yeah.
So we know he's ready, and I don't know why it's taken this long for him to get a chance if he has scored so many runs over such a long period of time. So they're going to be the openers, because in the squad, who else is an opener?
You've just got Denley. That's it. You've got Denley who can
would
come
be
in.
Using him. Yeah, he could, but I think he bats more 3 or 4, doesn't he, for Kent? So I think he was an opener when he was a promising young cricketer, which feels like about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a shout though. I mean, Denley. I'm going to throw a little something out here when I was thinking about this earlier. Joe Denley, the new Jonathan Trott for England.
Ooh.
Comes in, 32.
Yeah.
I think Trott was probably not dissimilar to that, was he? Maybe a little bit younger.
Yeah.
John Trott always looked old. He was probably born looking old, wasn't he? So I don't know. I just get a feeling Joe Denley. He was a player that had immense promise and talent when he was younger. He didn't really do it. Then he kind of veered away, vanished. Then he started scoring, doing better in white ball, one day cricket T20. Then he toured around the world a bit. Was it Pakistan Super League last winter, wasn't it? He played for Sydney in the Big Bash. He's got a contract over there again this year. He's played really, really well for Kent, scored a lot of runs. I wonder if it's the opportune time that we give someone like that. You've got to replace an Alastair Cook. You've got to replace experience. I just wonder if he might just come into that team and establish himself, whether it's at number 3 or whether he potentially could open him, couldn't he, with Burns? So,
yeah. It's
interesting stuff.
It's an interesting one. And I think part of the problem of this is there's no logical opener coming out of cricket other than Rory Burns from the past few seasons. And it makes it incredibly hard for this England team to pick it out. I'm just going to run through some names here, Rich. So you've got Hasib Ahmed, who came in. He was about 18 years old when he played his first game for England. He has averaged 9 this year opening the batting.
Oh, crap. I think I'd have fancied my chances of trying to average about 9. I wouldn't have got near it, but I'd have fancied my chances.
Yeah. One of your favourites, Nick Gubbins.
Yes. Injuries,
not the best season he's had after a good one last year, but he'll be part of the England Lions setup, I guess.
Yep, he is. Yes, he's in them both white ball and the 4-day squad, yeah.
Ben Duckett. Now, he's only 23 years old, averages almost 40, but he averaged 25 in Division 2 this year before moving to Nottinghamshire, where he's batting at number 4. He's
going to be reborn next summer. You just watch out.
Yep. Then you've got,
but he's not going to be an opener, though, is he? Going forward, he's going to be a middle order player.
No, he's out the conversation. Mark Stoneman, been there, done that. Averaged 27 from 11 to 12 tests. You've seen it.
Yeah, he looked okay, but he never looked like he was going to go and do anything extra. It's the same as Dawid Malan. It's the same as Tom Wesley. It's the same as all these people that in a few years you're going to go, he played for England. I don't remember that.
Yep.
So. Next.
Alex Hales.
Get on. White ball, Charlie. No, move on.
This is an interesting one. Jason Roy averages 38 in first-class cricket.
He's starting to get a little bit... When you actually, like the conversation we're starting to have now, when you start looking at who are the openers? Who are the options? It isn't like there's a massive queue of people banging the door down. So suddenly Jason Roy, same argument for Hales, wasn't it? Yep. He scores runs in international cricket, in 50-over cricket. He scores a lot of runs. He plays against the best bowlers in the world in formats all over the world. Why not? You start looking at it. He's got the temperament. He's got the character. He's proven that international cricket, hasn't he? But Test is a different arena completely. And Hales was one of those. Hales looked like he could be an absolute world beater in T20, 50 over, a little bit less so, but still the same. But he just didn't quite cut it in county, did it? Sorry, in Test cricket. So you just wonder. But yeah, Jason Roy is a good shout. He can't be far off getting an opportunity the way we've tossed aside everybody else.
Well, you kind of get to the point where you're running out of names. Next one on the list is Daryl Mitchell, who's 34.
Yeah, scored a lot of runs, hasn't he, over the years? Worcestershire?
Yeah, Worcestershire averages 40 in his career. Hit 3 centuries in 2018.
What is he now? 30, 37?
34 years old.
No, you're kidding. I thought he was 34 about 5 years ago. Sorry about that. Yeah, again, if you're picking, players at 32, etc., then why not? But I don't know. I think with the opener, I'd like to see another. I think Rory Burns isn't a young fella. He's not been around. He's not played cricket for England, but okay, he's 28. He's just turned 28 years old. So he's not a young fella. Let's get a young fella in there with him. That's what I reckon. But anyway, who's next on this list?
Yeah, that is my list. That is everyone that I've got on the list, and that's fundamentally the problem that England are trying to fill. There is no one really crying out. Rory Burns has been crying out for a call-up. Bang, he's in the squad. But there's Mitchell, 957 runs at an average of 36, 4 centuries. County journeyman, 34 years old. It would be a horses for courses selection for maybe a year. But everyone that's kind of been and gone, your Hales, you remember Sam Robson was up there, Joe Root used to open the batting. They've all been and gone from this opener slot. So England fundamentally have a problem at number 2 and at number 1, number 2 and number 3 in this batting lineup. And there's no one doing enough to cry out and get a selection.
Yeah, and that's why I think I quite like the Denley selection, because a little while ago we were talking and I was saying, do you know what, actually, I argued for a while that Joe Root, get yourself to number 3, mate, get yourself number 3. But actually, I'd quite like, because of the issues we've had at the top of the order, I'd quite like us to play with almost 3 openers. I'm not saying Denley is necessarily an opener as such, but he's more of an opener, if you like.
Yeah.
So if you did bat him at 3, then you've got your 2 openers with him. And Jennings can thank his lucky stars or whatever you want to say for actually having this opportunity, and probably looking around and seeing how little else there is out there is what saved him.
Yeah, it is.
And the fact that Ed Smith loves him, clearly. Genuine love.
Yeah, poster boy.
Yeah, exactly. But, do you know what? If you believe in him, play him. Select him. Play him. Prove us all wrong. I've got no problem with that. But, yeah, I quite like the thought of that. But if Jennings doesn't perform, then that's where I'd like to see one of my young openers in. That's what I want to see in the West Indies if Jennings doesn't perform.
So this England batting lineup, Rich, it's been bad for a long time. It's been bad. But you've got to say, when you pick your team for this England team, no matter how bad we've been, from number 4 onwards, from Joe Root, there's not a spot in the batting lineup. So everyone else in county cricket, your Ollie Popes are struggling to get into the lineup. You've got James Vince, who has gone and scored a bag load of runs. I don't like James Vince. I think he's a great player, but I don't think he's a test match player. But he's gone and scored a load of runs. He can't get back in the lineup. James Hildreth over 1,000 runs. He can't get in the lineup. Joe Clark just moved to Nottinghamshire, 850 runs. He can't get in the lineup. You've got to be an opener. And holy moly, if I'm a county cricketer and I'm an opener, I am doing everything this off-season to get ready for next season, because there will be an opener spot ready to go, because I can't see Keaton Jennings scoring runs in Sri Lanka.
No, I completely agree with you. But yeah, looking at that middle order, it's a frustrating one, isn't it? You got Root at 4, let's say, Bairstow at 5, Stokes 6, Butler 7. That sounds pretty locked in. If they don't score runs, though, at some point, one of those has got to be kicked to the curb, because that will absolutely put everything up this England setup.
Yeah.
I just think at the moment they're a little bit too settled in there. I wonder if that's one of the things that maybe impacted Bairstow throughout the summer. Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? I'm just looking at the makeup of this team as well, and it's not going to be straightforward. England like to bat deep, don't they?
Yep.
If they play Anderson and Broad and Leach and Rashid, Rashid's going to be batting at 8. Leach is going to be batting at 9.
Yeah.
I
don't think Leach will start. I think they'll go with Moeen Ali and they'll bat Ali at 3.
You reckon, instead of Denley?
Yeah. Yes, instead of Denley. Ali at 3.
Then you can play maybe Wokes or Curran at 8.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I think that gives better balance. Because what I was going to say, if they did want to go with Leach and Rashid, then I wonder, just a little bit of an outside shout, whether or not they'd maybe sit broad and actually play Wokes. Because then you can back Wokes at 8, can't you?
It's
there's an obsession, isn't there, with these guys that offer a bit more with the bat.
Yes, it's just whether you're willing to drop one of your best bowlers you've out. Yeah, it's a difficult one, but you never know what happens. I think first test they'll probably go sensible, but if they get drubbed in that first test, they don't score runs and Sri Lanka score 500-600. Or I'd like to be a fly on the wall in the selection meeting.
Yeah, and maybe let's look at it a different way though. It doesn't necessarily have to be dropping. Maybe it's a case of we are playing in alien conditions, and this is, want a better term, I hate this phrase, but horses for courses. We actually play someone, we need that all round because we're trying to fit this second spinner in. So we need a way of actually lengthening the batting. Yeah. I don't know. But hey, it's all to come up. I think it's at least with this squad, they have Ollie Pope's in there, Ollie Stone's in there. There is the selection of Rory Burns, Joe Denley, Sam Curran's still in there. It's starting to take on the look of quite an exciting squad, as well as the experienced guys. I would have liked to have seen another seamer, not just Ollie Stone, but another young seamer in this squad. Jamie Porter obviously was in the squads over the summer, but didn't get a look in. I would have liked to have just seen somebody else in there that somebody could be the future. I mean, maybe Wokes can take the Anderson mantle. Maybe Stone can take the Broad mantle in time when those boys move on. But I just wanted to see us just starting to feed in some of these young seamers a little bit more. But then saying that, they're going to get more cricket in playing Lions, aren't they? So I suppose there is that.
Yeah, there is that. There's one player that we've not discussed. And we had a whole section, about 15 minutes, talking about him, whether he was ready for an England call-up late on in his career. I'm talking about Ian Bell. And Ian Bell's had a wonderful season. He has he's bagged 1,000 first-class runs down in Division 2. Now, one of our friends, Craig, who comments on the Facebook page, before he had 1,000 runs, he had 895 runs at 49.72. And everyone's going, Ian Bell, let's just pick him. You could say the same for Jonathan Trott, who scored 1,000 runs at 46. But Ian Bell's record, he had 425 runs. So half of his runs were against the bottom team of Division 2, Glamorgan. The rest, 470 runs at an average of 27.6. So they're slightly inflated numbers. And I think that's what you need to look at sometimes, and it's hard to get to, is when you look at guys and you go, oh, wow, he scored a bagload of runs, or he's done this, he's done that. Who have they scored them against? If they've done it against the bottom team in Division 2, the worst county team in the country this year, that's probably not the best way to weigh up whether someone's ready to go and play for England again.
No, exactly. And my take on this, mate, is if Ian Bell was in the conversation and it was you were seriously considering it, well, then I wouldn't have done. I'd have made sure it was Hildreth, James Hildreth of Somerset. I would have been considering. Yeah. Scored over 1,000 runs, 1,089 runs. The only other player to score 1,000 runs is Rory Burns. 1,300 runs, 1,359 runs for Rory Burns. Just to get that stat out there, at an average just under 65. Hildreth was second, 45 average, over just shy of 1,100 runs this year, mate. That's what I would have been saying. So Ian Bell, I loved him in his day, but I want to see First Division cricket get stronger and stronger. I don't want people to dismiss Second Division cricket because there's a hell of a lot of good players out in there, but we've got to make sure that the best players, the best teams rise to the top to have the best competition. County Championship needs all the help it can get at the minute with the Graves, Colin Graves, ECB and whatnot, seemingly not really giving a toss about 4-day cricket, county cricket. So we need to make sure that stays as strong a product as possible. I don't know. I think it's time to move on from Ian Bell. And that middle order, though, as we look together, unless you're going to say Bell as an opener, we've just said about the middle order. Well, who's getting in there anyway?
Yeah, exactly. There's no room at the end in that middle order. The only selection, looking at the top run scores, would have been James Vince, who has probably done enough to rule himself out of Test selection until at least next summer.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So they're the squads, mate. The central contracts pretty much as expected. Just quickly run through a test match contract: Moeen Ali, James Anderson, Bairstow, Broad, Butler, Sam Curran, Adil Rashid. That's probably the surprise name. Joe Root, Ben Stokes, and Chris Wokes. They all have test match contracts. ODI T20 contracts: Moeen Ali, Bairstow, Butler, Alex Hales, Owen Morgan, Plunkett, Adil Rashid again, Joe Root, Jason Roy, Ben Stokes, David Willey, Chris Wokes, Mark Wood, and an incremental contract has been awarded to Tom Curran. So obviously if he plays a little bit more, he will get himself a central one. So no big surprises there really, no new names to add to it as it stands, but I'm sure that will change up in the coming years. Is it worth it? I don't want to go player for player, but the Lions are going to be playing some games of cricket over in the UAE this winter. Against Pakistan A, starting 18th of November. And I just want to mention this because this is probably some of the players that maybe, I don't want to say missed out, but these are the ones, these are coming up to put pressure on, aren't they?
Yeah.
So 4-day squad. I don't know if you've got it in front of you as well, but just picking some interesting names. Yeah, picking some interesting names. Don Bess, he seems to be a forgotten man. Made his debut, played a couple of tests or whatever, and now he's just been kicked to the curb. Sam Billings, I find him a bit of an overrated cricketer. I might be completely wrong on that one, but I don't really get the appeal. Joe Clark, Nick Gubbins, they're a couple of really exciting players for me. Joe Clark, it says Worcestershire in brackets. No, it's not. Nottinghamshire. What a signing. What a signing. That's unbelievable. I'm sorry if you're a Worcester fan. That must be heartbreaking. But I'm so pleased with Notts are going to have a middle order now of Ben Duckett and Joe Clark going forward next year. Anyway, I digress. Max Holden, Middlesex, and then Tom Kohler-Cadmore in the 4-day squad. That surprised me. I'd have understood it in the limited overs, but he was a talent, really exciting player. Again, ex-Worcester, now at Yorkshire. The persevering Liam Livingston, he gets another opportunity. The Overton brothers from Somerset. Matt Parkinson, we spoke about. Jamie Porter, Jason Roy, Amar Verdi of Surrey, Mark Wood of Durham. Josh Tong of Worcester was selected, but he's missed out now. And Saqib Mahmood of Lancashire have been called up, and that's the 4-day squad. Anything you want to pick the bones out of there, Rob?
Yeah, happy to see Matt Parkinson getting a decent run of it from the Lancashire team. I think he's a decent cricketer. The thing that gets me around this is there's so many guys that have been nearly around this England team. And Dominic Bess, he's had a game. Sam Billings, he's been around squads before. Liam Livingston did the whole tour of New Zealand. It's like, oh yeah, let's just get Liam Livingston in for James Vince. That's the key. He's gone and had a bad first-class season. He's down in the Lions, but chance to kind of turn things around. Overton brothers, they were superb in New Zealand. What did they do wrong to work their way down the pecking order? It's just a matter of injuries. And Mark Wood in the Lions squad rather than being in the first-team squad for Sri Lanka. And going with Ollie Stone's pace above Mark Wood's quite an interesting point.
Yeah, but you've got to give someone an opportunity. Until Mark Wood starts taking wickets on a consistent basis and taking multiple wickets in games and being a real impact, he doesn't deserve the opportunity with a full squad at the moment. So I think it's the right move. Mark Wood, he's not a bad cricketer, but it's just one of those, isn't it? It's just, I'm sorry, if other people are going to perform, they should get ahead. And get their opportunity. Jason Roy, we spoke about, he's going to be in that 4-day squad. I think that's good. Get him away from the white ball for a bit. He could be someone we look at as we go forward. Jamie Porter, Matt Parkinson are liking the 4-day squad. Again, he's kind of making a name for himself in the white ball stuff, so that's brilliant. They really are persevering with Livingston. I don't know how much he's done in the last year or so, but he was obviously on the. I can't remember. Did he play a test or was he just in the squads?
Just in the squad, now. I think.
Yeah, but again, there's going to be quite a lot of those players when we look back, isn't there, where we're not quite sure what they do. But it's interesting. The limited overs as well, it's relatively similar. You do see Lewis Gregory in it, and you also see Alex Davis of Lancashire. He's been opening the bat in the wicket-keeper. Exciting talent. I think he's only 2021. So there's some good young cricketers in there. The spinners, I really want to see Amar Verdi and Parkinson do well, especially in the 4-day stuff. Parkinson, obviously, he's going to spin in the limited overs as well. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited by those teams. It'd just be nice to see. Sam Hain as well, sorry, I forgot to mention him. He's in the white ball stuff.
Just about to mention him. His record is just absolutely next level. And we spoke about him on the podcast before. Born in Hong Kong, grew up in Queensland, plays for Warwickshire, and it's a hell of a record. His list day record, Rich, 2,271 runs, 42 games, an average of 68.
Superb.
With 900s.
Yeah, I think the start of the year they were saying that his white ball has kind of turned, really turned the corner and it's solid. But the red ball stuff, his technique was something he had to work on, and he certainly, he was starting to improve and showing that, and he was scoring some runs. So he's a really, really naturally talented player, isn't he? And he's somebody that I think the England setup like. Yeah. So I think if he can get his red ball stuff going, I think he could be all over the place with England. But yeah, it's there's plenty there, isn't there? There's a hell of a winter coming up. This is not a short tour. They start off on November the 18th with a 4-day match against Pakistan Abu Dhabi, and then they're in Abu Dhabi basically until pretty much doing the Christmas shopping. November the 25th to the 5th of December, 5 50-over matches, and then they've got 2 T20s to finish things off, 7th and 8th of December. So plenty of cricket. It'll be interesting to see, obviously, how well everyone does, but also how many of these players in the Lions end up on the tour to the West Indies in February, March time next year.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting, and it's a big winter for quite a lot of these England players, and sometimes that isn't the case. Sometimes people are just in, and it's like, oh yeah, they work their way through it, like the Ashes. Most of the guys that was in that dire Ashes series made it back out the other side for a little bit longer, which I think is wrong, fundamentally wrong. Whereas people are genuinely playing for careers and opportunities, and you've got to go a long way back to the last time that England actually played in Sri Lanka in a test series, because when you were over there in 2014, they didn't actually play the test series. It was purely just the one-day cricket. Yeah. So you've got to go back to 2011 and 12 to the last time there was a series. And Rich, it was a 2-match series. Can you give me the score?
What? Sorry, 2-match series. I just lost you there for a second, mate.
Yeah, 2-match series. Can you give me the test match score?
Ooh. No. 0-0.
Well, it was an incredible series. It finished 1 apiece. And I can remember watching quite a bit of this. Now I look at the scorecard. First test was in Galle. Sri Lanka 318. Your man, Jaya Wardner, got 180.
Oh, what a man.
Jimmy Anderson, Pfeiffer. But the England bowling lineup was Anderson, Broad, Panesar, Swan, and Samit Patel.
Oh, the criminally underused Samit Patel.
Exactly. But Sri Lanka bossed that first test match. Jonathan Trott got 100 in the 4th innings, but England fell about 100 runs short. But the second test match, England pulled it back. Again, Jai Warden with 100 in the first innings. They got 275. Then England went big and got 460. My man, the myth, the legend, the best cricketer to ever grace a field, Kevin Peterson with 151.
There's some names I'm not fond of in this conversation.
But the England batting lineup was where it was for a long time. You had Strauss, Cook, Trott, Peterson, Bell, Pryor, and then the bowling lineup was Anderson, Swan, Bresnan, when Bresnan was part of this England lineup, and Stephen Finn.
Oh, goodness. Okay, I'm not quite sure what response you want from me here. It's Stephen Finn. Yes. Yeah. Is he still playing?
Yeah. It's funny when you look through old England scorecards.
Isn't it?
It's amazing you find so many names and you go, wow, England ruined him. England ruined him. Hey, he had potential. England ruined him.
Oh man, that's brutal, isn't it? So it's kind of very quickly as well that you look back only 3 or 4 years or so, and you're suddenly looking back, going, "Wow, they were playing."
Yeah, you do. Yeah. So, what do you think in terms of score for this series, Rich? So we've got 5 one-day internationals.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's just have a quick look. We don't have to go into detail, but Sri Lanka squad, they're not settled. They've just sacked Angelo Matthews after them. It didn't go particularly well in the Asia Cup, did it? Dinesh Chandimal, he's going to be captaining the squad. They've got some names. They've still got some decent names, but they've also got some names that I've not really heard of. I mean, Upal Taranga's there. This is a brilliant one. Samara Wickrama. Sadira Samara Wickrama. Dick Vella's in there. Dhananjaya De Silva. Kusal Pereira. Dastan Shanaka. Tisara Pereira. Akila Dhananjaya. Chamir is in there. Lasif Malinga is in there for the ODI squad still.
Malinga's just come back in the Asia Cup and took Pfeiffer.
Yeah, that's exciting, isn't it, that he's back in there. So, there are the Pereiras, the De Silva, 1 or 2 others, Pradeep, I think Kasun Rajita, I don't really know that name particularly well. Apparently it's 16 strong squad. There is 5 spinners, including Pushpakumara, in the Test squad as well. So Chandimal's captain for that as well. He's got the captaincy for both. Karunaratne, he's scored a hell of a lot of runs in the last year. He's done really well since he got his opportunity. Kaushal Silva, Kusal Mendes, Angelo Matthews does get a selection in the Test squad after being dropped from the ODI. Dick Vella's in there, Dhananjay De Silva, Roshan Silva, Pereira, Rangana Harath. They're just a wicket machine. You just never believe that he's one of the leading wicket takers in Test cricket, would you? But he just churns it out. Pushpakumara, who I've mentioned, Akila Dhananjaya, Suranga Lakmal, Kasun Rajita, Sandakan, Lahura Kumara is subject to fitness. But a lot of spinners in that squad. Strong squad. It's going to be difficult in those conditions. So just giving that context, it's a little bit of an inexperience. With Angelo Matthews, he just used to keep things together. They always seem to have that really experienced player in the ODIs. That time I was out there last time, there was a certain wicketkeeper batsman that just would not stop scoring runs. I don't know if you've got the stats there from that series still.
No.
But he just would not stop scoring runs. Everyone's favourite Sri Lankan commentator now. He's been over here this summer, isn't he? But I just don't even want to say his name because he just annoyed me with how many runs he scored.
Oh, he's such a good player, though. Such a good player.
Yeah, it was a privilege to see him. We all know who we're talking about. Kumar Sangakkara, he just churned them out. Every time you thought you had made a start in that Sri Lankan batting lineup, he would just churn out runs. And Angelo Matthews was the same. He would just seem to hang around as well. So it'll be interesting to see. I think England have got a better chance in the ODIs. I think the Tests, I think it's going to be, if there's results, I can't see them losing times, because even if it rains out there, by the time the sun's come out again, it's dried the pitch in half an hour. So you're straight back out. So there's not going to be any draws. For weather, depends how the pitches are. I think it could be a 2-1. I think if we get a 1-1, I think that'll be stupendous in the Test series. But the ODI, I'm going to call. I think England might surprise a few people, and I think England might get a win. There might be one rained off. They might lose one for bad weather. When it rains, it does properly rain there, and if it's only a one-day game, you never know. So what do you reckon?
I'm going to go with, I think Sri Lanka are going to win the Test series. I think it's a big ask. South Africa's just been in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka aren't the best team in the world anymore, but they just lost 2-0. Sri Lanka are very, very good at home. They don't lose many series at home at all. I'm flicking back and I'm going a long way back and I'm not seeing them lose a Test series at home until India beat them in 2015. I might have those stats wrong, but I think that's the last time they lost at home. But their one-day cricket is abysmal at the moment. They are a really, really bad team. And Sri Lanka, it's a real shame because ever since they came on the scene, they were exciting and they were the team to watch. And you wanted to watch Jayasurya and Rangatunga and De Silva.
Yeah, totally agree, mate. It's going to be a tough one, isn't it? I think if we can win one Test match, I think we've done unbelievably well.
Yeah.
I think it would then end up 1-1 or something like that. I think we'd probably 1-1 in a draw. One day is I'm going to go 3-1 and one rained off.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to be too far away with it. I think England will win this Sri Lanka team. The last lot of games that they've actually won in one-day international cricket or series, they won a tri-series against Bangladesh and Zimbabwe in 2017. You've got to go all the way back. Holy moly, it's a long way back to 2016, the last time they won something else, and that was against West Indies in Zimbabwe. And then the last time they won a one-day series was against Ireland in 2016. The last time against any decent team was West Indies in 2015-16. They're on a horrific run of form in a one-day international cricket, and there is chance that England could well pick up 4 of these victories in the one-day series for me.
Yeah, and it explains why they've made a change as well, doesn't it? With somebody like, they've basically said, look, it's not working as it is. Thank you very much for all your work, Angelo Matthews, but you go and contract. We're going to keep you around on the Test cricket, and we need to bring some young blokes in to put the pressure on and try and get some results. So it makes sense of that selection, doesn't it? Sri Lanka up against it. I'm sure their home population will be absolutely desperate to see them do well on home soil against England. I'm very jealous of anyone going out there. I've got to say that. Every time I know of a Sri Lanka series, I can just see it now. A few lion beers, sitting on the fort at Galle, watching a bit of cricket. Yeah, it's a nice place to go.
It sounds picturesque, mate. It sounds absolutely picturesque. In fact, Sri Lanka was on the list of my honeymoon destinations with the wife before we decided to go to Canada.
They don't play cricket much in Canada.
They don't.
If there's a Canadian Premier League with Steve Smith, then maybe I would have understood it.
I feel we need to segue out. We were just about to wrap up, but there's one thing, and I really hope you've seen it, because it's the most ridiculous thing I've seen in a very, very long time. Did you see David Warner's celebration when he scored 100 in club cricket?
Do you know what? I saw the photo of it and I saw all the reaction, and I couldn't bring myself to press play. I just couldn't.
It's like he just scored a Boxing Day Test match against England, mate, where it's the 2-0 down in the series or 1-0 down in the series, whatever. It was phenomenal. It's playing grade cricket. And he ran 30 yards past the stumps, massive jump in the air, little fist bump, kissed the badge, and then gave it the big I am to all four corners of the ground. And it's, I can't remember, I think it was Brendan McCullum. There's Sir Edmund Hillary, first man to climb Everest, Kiwi bloke. It's like him walking up the stairs to the local supermarket and giving it the big I am.
I loved it. I was trying to think who was giving him some, but he was getting heaps, wasn't it? It wasn't just from the general cricketing population. It was blue tick superstar international cricketers, wasn't it? Giving him some crap about that. So bless him. I mean, maybe he thought his career was over. That's all I can think. But come on, man, just rein it in a little bit. David Warner. I mean,
but the thing is, like, whenever I scored hundreds playing club cricket, I didn't give it the big I am. I just gave a little, oh yeah, cool, I'm going to get drunk tonight.
Humble brag. Whenever I scored centuries.
Yeah, there's not that many to talk about, but whenever I did, I was like, oh, awesome, great, I'm really going to get drunk.
Did you spin your bat round so you could show the sponsors bit on the back?
No, like to be honest, mate, I've got a reputation. It probably wasn't my bat.
Probably. Nor your pad box.
Definitely not my box.
Trousers.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Well,
it was a hell of a reaction, bless him. And he's obviously got his reasons, hasn't he? But he must have terrified the old bloke with a dog that sat on the balcony, sat on the bench or something. And when we talk grade cricket, we are talking club cricket here, aren't we?
Yeah.
This is what we just need to reiterate, which is why it was kind of ridiculous. But if he was playing for, playing for Queensland or New South Wales or whoever he plays for, I forget, I would have understood it. If it was at the MCG or something, playing against Victoria or whatever, I get it. But playing, club, your mates are having a pint after the game, a schooner after the game. Pull it in, Davey.
Pull it in, bro. I had to finish on that because when I saw it, I was absolutely howling in laughter. Just phenomenal. But hey, Rich, it's good to be back on the podcast, my friend. Good to have a schedule. Yes. This is kind of a big thing, isn't it?
We haven't actually done the schedule yet. This is just the first one, isn't it? But we will have a schedule and we will stick to a schedule. Please stick to the schedule.
Yeah. I'm sure things will work out fine. Excited about getting the riders on board and the website coming through.
Yes.
It's taking time, but good things take time. Just look at David Warner's ban. It took a long time for him to get 100. Look how much it meant to him. You know what? When the website goes live and the first article goes live, I'm going to take a video of myself in the park outside, running through, giving it the big I am.
Is that what we need to do? Do we need people to recreate David Warner celebrations when they're doing really ordinary things, like just going to the shop? Just nip into the shop for a pint of milk. Transaction card, as the card's cleared. Yeah. Run down the street. Come on.
You know what?
The badge on your shirt.
You know what? I think I might actually just start doing that. I might change the baby's nappy today and then just start running through the house and give it the big Klinsman on my chest.
Running down the corridor. Look what I did, I'm back. Look who's back.
Oh, absolutely superb, mate.
If anyone's got a David Warner celebration in any walk of life, please get it recorded and send it. I'll just put it on Twitter. That'd be awesome. That'll be one of the greatest things ever.
Yeah, I feel that's a good plug to Leading Edge Pod on Twitter. Make sure you drop us a follow over there. There's always plenty of cricket content being talked about on Twitter. And we want to get all your good stuff on there as well.
Yes, indeed. And let's get this podcast moving a bit more again. We know we've been a bit sedate. We know we've had, we've not been able to commit to as much as we'd like to when we first started. But let's get it shared again. Tell your mates, tell your mum, tell your dad, tell your brother, whoever. Just tell anybody. A random bloke in the street, a random woman at the office. Get them onto the podcast. Get them talking about it. Get them listening to it. we're not too bad, are we? We must be all right. We must be okay, Rob. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, okay. Rich, thank you so much for your time. Good to have a chat. Good way to spend my Saturday morning and your Friday night, mate.
Definitely. What better thing to do on a Friday night?
Nothing. It's like going to the pub with your mate and having a pint and talking cricket, except there's no pint and we're in different countries and I'm sat on my knees in a little room. Other than that, it's exactly the same.
And I'm at home as well. So, yeah, it's basically like going to a pub on a Friday night.
Beats watching Coronation Street.
True, there is that.
It does.
Sorry if you're a Coro fan.
Thank you for listening, guys. You've been legends. Till next time.